you very much, Chris. And this is Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, where we'll have a crowd of 60,000 to watch the Seattle Seahawks try to even their home-and-home series with the home-standing San Diego Chargers. The '89 NFL Draft was loaded with big-time running backs with impressive credentials. 6 backs in all were accorded first-round honors, and in 2 short years they have justified the headlines. But the member of that esteemed group making the loudest noise is the bargain of the class.
We felt like he'd be a good football player and an excellent addition to the team. If we thought he was going to be as good as he is now running the football, we'd have taken him ahead of 7th round.
San Diego's Marion Butts was mainly a blocking back in college, but now he's a big-time star in the NFL. His massive frame and brute strength have made him a league-wide force.
He'll take it on full force with power. He runs behind his pads, and he comes with a big load.
I feel as I'm a cat, caught up in a corner. There is only one way to gain yards. A lot of times you just have to go through a person.
Upset Sunday in the NFL. The mighty have fallen. In the AFC West, Kansas City beat the Raiders 27-24. That creates a tie in the AFC West at 7-4 and leaves both San Diego and Seattle only 2 games back in the loss column. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. Thanks for joining us tonight on ESPN. Every season there seems to be one game that will determine a team's fate. Well, tonight, that one game is here for both San Diego and Seattle. As always, it's my pleasure to be working with Joe Theismann. And Joe, under Chuck Knox, Seattle has always had an opportunistic defense. They've always had great special teams. Always, until now, that is.
That's right, Mike. From 1983 to last year, in creating turnovers, they were #1 in the National Football League. This year, they've gotten 4 interceptions, and they only have 17 sacks. And their special teams have given up 2 touchdown returns, which places an awful lot of emphasis on David Craig in the offense. With the way San Diego runs the football, don't look for Craig to match it. The ball's going up for the Hawks tonight.
Now, Seattle, of course, a very veteran ball club. In San Diego, there is a major youth movement.
Oh, there really is. The San Diego Chargers have added 24 new players, 12 since the season has started, which brings to light the fact that this football team is getting an entirely new look, especially on special teams. They were horrible last year. This year, they're #1. Dan Henning knew he had to protect Billy Joe Tolliver, so he featured the run. Marion Butts, 7th-round draft pick, blocking back in college, has 867 yards and is #2 in the National Football League. David Richards, their offensive guard, told me, "We feel like we can run the football against anybody." Tonight, that anybody is the Seattle Seahawks.
Dan Henning, in his 2nd year as the Chargers head coach, he has won 11, lost 16. Of course, also the former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons and a longtime respected assistant in the National Football League. And across from him, Chuck Knox, 8th year as Seattle's head coach. Still the only man to have 3 teams make the playoffs under his guidance. A brilliant NFL coaching record. And Seattle has won the toss and elected to receive as we start. Here in beautiful Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, John Carney, formerly of Notre Dame, getting ready to kick it away. Derek Lovell and Chris Warren are deep to receive.
Carney, living the precarious life of a kicker in the National Football League, has yet to buy a home. He's renting.
And when you get cut that many times, there's no sense to buy yet. Chargers kickoff coverage, they've done a very good job this year. In fact, overall, their special teams are #1 in the National Football League. And we are set to go from San Diego on a Sunday that has been full of amazing results. And there are no undefeated teams left in this league. Carney, low line drive kick picked up by Chris Warren, and it got through him. Warren, number 5 in the AFC, but won't have a chance to return this one. And now for tonight, Sears, diehard starting lineups. Seattle quarterback Dave Craig has been inconsistent again this year. When he's hot, though, nobody has a better touch, and he's a great competitor. Derek Fenner has been a welcome compliment to John L. Williams. His scoring binge is cool, but he's still second in the conference with 9 TDs. The offensive line is a concern. Left guard Edwin Bailey, now in his 10th year, has started more games up front than anyone in team history. They start with split backs. And Craig to throw on first down against the 4-man rush. Pressure. That may be a lateral, and Fenner has to go down to get it at the 12-yard line.
That was a lateral. I mean, anytime you see the quarterback swing it back, absolutely. It's a good thing Fenner had a presence of mind to jump on it. Craig back in the pocket. Leslie O'Neal continuing to put pressure on from the outside. Craig steps up. Now you see him slip it over, but the ball is also behind Fenner as well as it was behind Craig.
The whistle did not blow, and it was live. San Diego defensively challenging here. They put 8 men on the line of scrimmage and dare you to throw. And that's what Craig will do. Dumps it to Williams. Couldn't hold it. John L. Williams with those great hands couldn't come up with that one. The Chargers have some marquee defensive players. Lee Williams has started 2 straight Pro Bowls, will soon be the team's all-time sack leader. Leslie O'Neal may break Williams' mark one day. A tremendous player. He leads this year in sacks. He's also second in tackles. And Gil Byrd is number 1 in the NFL with 7 interceptions. In the last 3 seasons, he has 21 picks. That is the best of any cornerback in the National Football League. And Seattle already where they didn't want to be in a 3rd and 18 hole. 4 wide receivers, 3 to the near side. Comes the blitz, screen to Williams. Byrd comes up from the secondary to bring him down at the 20-yard line.
That screen accomplished what it was designed for, and that was to just get the punter an opportunity to have a little bit of room so he wasn't backed up. Dave Craig got his first completion. That's very important for a quarterback. At least get the ball in somebody's hands and let him hold on to it.
4th and long, and Donnelly will come in to punt to Nate Lewis. First meeting between these teams, Lewis had a 63-yard touchdown return. He's waiting at his own 40. Big rush, but Donnelly got it out of there. High, booming spiral. Lewis back to the 33, and he is buried. The Seattle special teams, under a lot of pressure, got a great play out of Melvin Jenkins that time, stopped him in his track. The Chargers quarterback, Billy Joe Tolliver, he has all the tools. He's getting experience the hard way under fire as the starter. Anthony Miller is San Diego's only quick strike weapon. 2nd in the conference in yards, 5th in receptions. He is a game breaker. The line is awfully young, and right guard David Richards is the only one at the same spot that he played a year ago. And Tolliver to throw on first down. And completes it to Quinn Early at the 39-yard line. The Seahawks have gone to a 4-man line on defense, and Jacob Green has responded with a team-leading half-dozen sacks. There are multiple injuries at linebacker, but David Wyman is back in the middle. He missed the first 9 with a knee injury. 12-year veteran Nesby Glasgow leads the team in tackles, but this club has only 4 interceptions. That is the lowest in the NFL. Gain of 7 on first down, 2nd and 3. Butts the deep man. And Marion Butts will get the carry, very close to first down territory as he crossed the 42.
Dan Henning told me down on the field during pregame warm-ups, Mike, he said, Joe, this is going to be basic football. What you're going to see is you're going to see Marion Butts running between the tackles. You're going to see Seattle try and bring 8 people to stop them, and then they're going to try and get the ball outside, and it's going to be a game of inside, outside, inside, outside. And that's what he wants.
You always talk about a big back like Marion Butts punishing tacklers. He also punishes his own blockers. His linemen say they have extra incentive to keep moving downfield because when he hits him in the back, it hurts.
He's coming.
But not much that time. Glasgow up near the line of scrimmage in a hurry from his safety spot at the 45.
There, the plays, there's been a lot made. Of course, Bubby Brister complaining a little bit about what comes in. There are they on the sidelines. Mark Vlasic, number 13. John Freeze, number 17, not dressed out. Billy Joe Tolliver gets it, steps in the huddle, makes the call, says, ready, break, let's go. It's that simple. Good timing, huh?
Yeah, simple to you. 2nd and 8. They'll run out of the tight formation. Tolliver dumps it to Butts. Has a blocker in front of him, but tripped up as he got just back past the line of scrimmage. And Dave Wyman, the middle linebacker, came over to make the tackle. Wyman started for the first time last week and had 8 tackles. Here is a guy who was so happy that they went to the 4-3, give him a chance to play middle linebacker. Then he gets hurt and can't play the first 9 games of the season.
We were over in Seattle with him in Tokyo, and he was talking about coming back, and he's finally getting back into the lineup. There's a guy they really didn't count on playing a lot this year because of the injury. And the Seahawks going to have a job cut out, because look what the Chargers do on their opening drive. 7 scores and 11 possessions.
The best in the league. Tolliver over the middle and 2 wide from Miller. There is a flag down on the play back at the 40-yard line. Eugene Robinson on the coverage, and the hold will go against Seattle. They'll decline and bring up a 4th down.
Holding. Number 67 in the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
It was Leo Goaz, number 67, the rookie left tackle out of the University of Hawaii. And John Kidd will come on to punt, formerly of the Buffalo Bills. And Chris Warren, who was a very large return man at 6'2", 225. That's very unusual.
By comparison to many guys around the league, he's 5 inches taller than most.
And about 50 pounds heavier. Flag is down. Didn't look like they got the play off in time.
And of course, John Kidd figuring with a free play, may as well get a little practice kick in. Stretch it out. Dale Hammer up there. Referee trying to sort things out. He'll find somebody to talk to in a minute, I guarantee you. Referees don't want, they'll find somebody out there. Somebody's going to give him an answer.
Ball start. Number 37 in the offense. 5 yards. 4th down.
San Diego's punt coverage team is number 1 in the league. They only allow 4.7 yards a return, and this will be a big matchup against Chris Warren because he's averaging nearly 10 yards a return. Number
37 is Terry Orr. Now, he was just picked up from the Redskins just recently, so every system has their own new little terminology, little huts, little snaps of the ball. He's not used to it yet, and that's probably the reason why he moved.
Orr, an outstanding special teams player and tight end for the Redskins for a long time.
Was a great
very familiar to Dan Henning.
And was a great running back at Texas.
Warren waits at 15 for John Kidd. High punt, short. Warren comes up, signals fair catch, and has to go down to the knees to make it at the 28-yard line. 32-yard punt, no return. After a couple of series in San Diego, we are scoreless. ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Volkswagen. Say the word Fahrvergnügen. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen. By O'Doul's non-alcoholic brew, brewed like premium beer to taste like a premium beer. And by ITT Hartford. When you need us most, we're at our best. That's the sunset at Point Loma on San Diego Harbor. Just one of the most beautiful areas in the world here, Southern California. Seattle takes over its own 28-yard line, scoreless first quarter. Derek Fenwick, man in the eye. Fenner gets the carry. Big hole and a good block. John L. Williams gets it out to the 34-yard line. Gary Plummer and Martin Bayless combine on the tackle.
What San Diego wants to do is they want to put, look at all these guys at the line of scrimmage. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys lined up real close. Actually, 9 close to the line of scrimmage. If you find a little crease, you're going to get a big play. That's exactly what Seattle does. Does a good job of blocking it up front.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4 for the Seahawks. Fenner again. Flag goes down as Gary Plummer takes Fenner down at the 36-yard line.
You know, Mike, that's the other thing that happens. When you get 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, I'll let Dale say his thing.
Holding, number 65 of the offense. Repeat, 2nd down.
What happens when you get 8 guys at the line of scrimmage and you got offensive linemen that have to make blocks and get off blocks, they get caught in the middle and they wind up grabbing people and not getting away. Not only does it put a lot of pressure on your quarterback, does it plug up the holes for your running game, but it raises a whole lot of havoc with trying for the offensive linemen to block people.
A holding call was called on the starting left guard, Edwin Bailey, the veteran of the group. And 2nd and 14 now for the Seahawks. Craig will go to the shotgun with 4 wide receivers. Blades across the 40 to the 43-yard line. It's a first down. A gain of 18. Donald Franken on nickel coverage had to make the tackle.
You know what you do when you got a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage? You go back in the shotgun and you throw the football. Give your quarterback a chance to get it off. These are 10 guys at the line of scrimmage. This guy's got to do a better job on Blades and not let him off on the inside. There's a free safety out of the picture in the middle, but look at that. Doesn't get a good jam. Craig does a good job of getting the ball off. See, that's the key to it. Throw an 8-yard pass. Let the receiver run for the additional 8 or 9 yards.
Split the backs this time. Put Williams on a wing. Four-man rush. Craig over the middle. Complete again to Blades. Down to the San Diego 44-yard line. Sandwiched between Glenn and Plummer. A gain this time of 14. David Craig is one of those guys who has been hot and cold throughout his career, but when he is hot, I don't think there is a better touch passer in football.
He's received a lot of criticism, Mike, that I believe is unjust. They say David Craig doesn't belong to be in Pro Bowls. He only goes when guys turn it down. That's not true. Here's one of the most productive quarterbacks in the history of the league, and really for the first time in talking to the Chargers, you hear the word respect when they talk about David Craig. Got to give him respect.
McNeil and Heller are in as tight ends. Fenner trying to get outside. Bayless came up from the safety spot and made the good tackle as he crossed the 45 to about the 43-yard line.
Oh, yeah, but a lot of credit goes to Leslie O'Neal. He should get an assist on that. He comes up, forces the block, really strips the blocker and allows the secondary support to come up. Leslie O'Neal, outside, there he is, number 91. See how he beats the first block, takes John L. Williams on. Now Fenner doesn't have anybody to help him. Got a new name for Leslie O'Neal in that position in football. That's a bend individual. Part backer, part end, a bend.
2nd and 9. Straight 4-man rush, and Craig just drops it to John L. Gil Bird takes him down as he reaches the 37-yard line. Also over there was Henry Rolling. There's a flag down on the play in the secondary.
Thrown real late, too.
And usually what that is somebody has blocked downfield illegally.
Ooh, that's a personal foul against the Chargers. That's what those arms mean, going out.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 32 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
Well, there is no 32. Could be Grossman 92. Could be Gilbert 22.
Anyway, a 2 did it.
A 2 did it.
A 2 did it. I know it was one of those 2 guys out there that did it. This is something the Chargers don't want to get themselves into. If you're a running football team, you don't want to get behind and have to force the football down the field throwing it. I mean, they got to toughen up down here.
Penalties really hurt them a week ago. That was a season high. So Seattle gets a first down at the San Diego 21-yard line. John L. Williams trying to cut it back. Can't do it. Lee Williams got him at the 21-yard line. This is a good defensive football team.
Has been for a long time. Ron Lynn's done an excellent job. They've had a bit of revamping done on that side of the ball as well. It's an aggressive style of defense. What he likes to do with his people, instead of line them up and play just different individuals, he likes to shade the guard, shade the tackles, play the gaps. But he wants to keep 8 guys at the line of scrimmage.
Seahawks knew they'd have a tough time rushing the ball. They tried 4 times tonight, have -1 yard to show for it. 2nd and 10 here. Craig with a lot of time, still can't find anybody. And Lee Williams takes him out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Very gently, I might add.
A lot of credit to the secondary. That's a coverage sack or a coverage run. Anytime a quarterback can buy that much time. Now, Craig had almost 7 seconds to throw the football. When you can't find somebody open in that period of time, got to give a lot of credit to that secondary.
That secondary has picked off 17 this year. That's 3rd in the NFL. But Chuck Knox knows with an 8-man front, you have to throw the football. That's the challenge we have to respond to.
He told us that yesterday when we sat with him in the meeting. He said, hey, we're going to throw the football.
3rd and 7. 4 wide out, 2 to each side. Frank knocked it away from Blades. Blades wanted a flag and won't get it.
We saw on a long 3rd down play in this drive earlier, Benny Blades get up inside and Brian Blades, make the play. This time Franks is right on his hip pocket. Actually, what he does is he picks his pocket, then he picks his shirt, then he jumps over the top of him, and that's not subject to review. So, I mean, as long as he got it, it was a good defensive play. But in all honesty, I don't think you can grab shirts.
It sets up a 4th down situation, and Norm Johnson will come on to try a 36-yard field goal. 5 of his 6 misses this year have been wide right. This one is wide left. So Norm Johnson, who has hit 12 of 18 coming in, has now missed 7 this season. Johnson hooks it left, and we're still scoreless in the 1st quarter. After the missed Norm Johnson field goal, San Diego will take over at its own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. 4:53 to go 1st quarter. We have a scoreless game from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Billy Joe Tolliver, young man that should have quite a future in this league. Great arm. The one thing they're asking him to work on, the different kinds of touch you need to throw certain passes. He's not there yet, but he's got the ability. Play action. Tolliver airs it out. Intended for Miller, and Hunter picked it off. Only the 5th interception this year for the Seattle Seahawks defense, and Hunter was all over that one.
Well, it's just a simple go pattern. They send Anthony Miller up the field. He's their fastest and best receiver. They're just going to turn him loose. I think it's a good shot by Dan Henning down deep. Fake the play action. They expect you to run. Now set and fire. I think he's got to get this ball up a little bit quicker. That's what happens when you're a young, strong-armed quarterback. You think you can throw the ball so far, but he just didn't throw it far enough.
4:42 to go 1st quarter. 0-0 Seahawks and the Chargers. We're scoreless in San Diego with 4:42 to go. Let's see what the Seahawks can do after they got the turnover, the interception by Patrick Hunter. They'll take over at their own 34-yard line. Williams in front of the back. John L. Williams. This guy, the most complete fullback in the game. He's up to the 39-yard line. Gary Plummer made the stop.
The tackle by Gary Plummer.
Coach Knox talked about the importance of takeaways. Now, from 1983, there are the stats. From 83 to 89, 298 takeaways. 1st in the NFL. 90, they have 15, 28, dead last. Only 5 interceptions, only 17 sacks.
2nd and 5. Williams goes to a wing. Craig with a short drop, complete. About a yard shy of a first down, and it looked like Blades made the catch and was mugged at that point. And what you're seeing right now is a lot of what happened in the first game. The Chargers talked a lot, pushed a lot, and Seattle says they're not going to get away with it
That's
tonight.
exactly right, Mike. Watch this. Craig goes, Tommy Kane going in motion, Dave Craig back in the pocket, fires it out to Blades. Now, it looks simple. It's a completion. Okay. There come the Chargers to attack. Now, watch this. Here comes Brian Millard. Boom! What they said is, hey, listen, we are not going to, we were beat up. The offensive line felt and took it personal that the Chargers really knocked their blocks off in the last one. They said, it's not going to happen down here. So the tone is set early.
Bring out the sticks, and they'll be short by about the length of a football, bringing up 3rd and a foot. Chuck Knox down to his high school playing weight.
Number 64, as reported as an eligible receiver.
From 236 pounds, he's down to 173. It was just amazing talking to him. He looks, actually, having seen him a little bit now, he looks better. The first time you see him, when he loses that much weight, it's scary.
3rd and a foot. Drills is in as an eligible receiver, 64. An additional blocker, and John L. Williams dives forward for the first down near the 45-yard line.
Junior Seau with the hit, and that's what they brought him in for. And this guy is having a bit of trouble adjusting, only because in college he was a designated rusher. Now they're asking him to play on the strong side. He has to be more patient, and he can't just turn it loose. Leslie O'Neal is their guy to turn it loose. So that's been his biggest problem, he told me, is patience. I'm not a patient guy, but I got to be patient.
Chuck Knox had some high praise for him, said he was the finest rookie inside linebacker he had seen in 28 years of pro football. Craig under pressure. O'Neal almost caught him, and he tosses this out in the direction of Tommy Kane. No flag. The crowd wanted one. David Craig had no intention of trying to complete that pass.
And Andy Heck was not going to let Leslie O'Neal near David Craig, no matter what. We're finding out that they're letting him play.
Andy Heck was the guy involved in the game where Derek Thomas had that NFL record 7 sacks. Got a lot of negative publicity. His picture was in Sports Illustrated. He only gave up 2 of those sacks. So, Andy, we know you're not responsible for all of them. He's a fine offensive lineman. Play action by Craig. Drops it off to Heller, the tight end. He'll get a couple. ESPN's coverage of the NFL begins every Sunday at noon with Game Day. Chris, Tom, and Pete preview all the day's games. Then at 7, back with a complete wrap-up on prime time. And at 8 o'clock, Joe and I will be in Minneapolis. Green Bay against Minnesota, and 2 teams that have returned from the dead.
The Pack is back, and the Vikings are alive.
Look at this, 6 and 5 for Green Bay, 5 and 6 for Minnesota, both written off. Now they're back in the playoff chase. 3rd and 6 here for Seattle. Craig with the happy feet throws incomplete. Intended for Chadwick Gilbert, was right there. Craig really dancing in the pocket.
What happens to a quarterback so often is that you get up to the line of scrimmage and you see and read all the defensive players. And you have everybody accounted for, and you know what you want to do with the football. And then all of a sudden, the defense backs out a little bit, and that's what caused David Craig that problem.
Donnelly, who got off a good one in his first effort, punting to Nate Lewis. He's back at his 10-yard line. Fair catch signal. And Lewis then lets it go, and it kicks into the end zone. 51-yard punt by Donnelly. And San Diego will start from its own 20 when we come back. Time running out in the scoreless first quarter, and the ball control team, San Diego, has had the ball for only 3 minutes in the first period. Seattle, 10.5.
I tell you, running only 6 plays in the first quarter, I don't think is Coach Henning's idea of ball control.
Last time they had the ball first down, they went deep, and it was intercepted. Marion Butts and a couple of H-backs in the backfield. And Tolliver to throw on first down again. Throws incomplete. Outstanding coverage by Dwayne Harper. All over Anthony Miller. Of course, San Diego's strength, running. Butts, 867 yards. And then the other semi is Rod Bernstein, 82 carries, averaging 5 yards a carry. Bernstein hurt tonight.
Yeah, flat tire.
That's right.
And there he is. There he is.
Pulled hamstring. He's out for 4 weeks. Drafted as a tight end out of Texas A&M and part of the big backfield. Keep it on the ground this time and not get much at all, as Butts got maybe a yard.
You know, you talk about that, the last ball game these two teams played, and the score was 31-14. But going into the third quarter, it was 14-7 San Diego. They scored 2 touchdowns in 32 seconds. They got the kick return for a touchdown, and then they got the fumble recovery. So they play a lot closer than that last score was indicative of.
Butts comes into this game needing only 33 yards to catch Thurman Thomas as the leading rusher in the NFL. He has 7 on 3 carries so far. Tolliver, the pocket collapses, and they got him at the 15. Jacob Green is one of the men in there, and Joe Nash is the other, and Green, one of 3 NFL players with more than 100 sacks. He got at least part of that one.
We talked about San Diego's secondary being good at as far as coverage goes. You're going to see the same thing here. Tolliver does have time to throw the football. Sets the 7 steps, steps up, starts to go, pulls the trigger, and brings it back in. And then the wall collapses.
Jeff Bryant got a piece of him, too, so the 3 veterans on that defensive line were all in there. Kid the punt to Warren. And Seattle should have pretty good field position. High, but very short. Warren signals fair catch at the San Diego 49-yard line. A punt of only 33 yards.
You know, you were really right about Warren, Mike. You know, at 6'2", 225, you just don't see him featured as a guy who's one of these little natty fellas that moves up and down the field. There in your screen, off to the right of your picture, Rusty Tillman, the special teams coach of the Seahawks. There he is, patting everybody on the back. You know, he said our punt return team's not done a bad job, so we've had 2 run back, but we're only giving up 5 yards. So, hey, don't get down on us. We'll be all right.
Could be the last play of the period. Fenner, the deep man in the eye. And Fenner will get the carry. Lee Williams crashed in from his left end spot and made the stop after a gain of only a yard. And that's the end of the first period here in San Diego. The Seahawks nothing and the Chargers nothing. So far, it's been a case of neither team doing the things that they had hoped to do when we came in here.
And San Diego in particular. Tolliver's 1 for 3 on first and 10 for 7 yards, 1 interception. Butts has carried once for 2 yards. That's not the idea of the game plan I'm sure Dan Henning had in mind.
Seattle has had the only scoring opportunity, but they missed a possible field goal. And the Seahawks have it 2nd and 8 at the San Diego 47-yard line. Four-man rush. Craig with time. Guns this one. Complete to Tommy Kane at the 32-yard line. Gil Bird makes the stop. A gain of 16. Kane really injured his first 2 years. Already caught more balls now. That was his 30th catch than he had in the first 2 seasons.
One of the best thing that happened to Tommy Kane was coming to a football team where Steve Largent was a receiver. He said Largent has helped him in 2 specific areas. Number 1, reading defense. Number 2, how to use your body language to set up a defensive back.
Kane is out of there now. Blades who bruised his knee and is back in as the only wideout. Fenner hit in the backfield, dove forward for a couple. Leslie O'Neal had the first shot at him. Junior Seau was in on the stop.
Gain of 2 yards. The tackle number 55, Junior Seau.
Lower left side of your screen, the job that Leslie O'Neal does. John L. Williams has to pick him up this time. Had a shot at him for a 5-yard loss, but just let him get away. You know, that's what happens. You get geared as a pass rusher. You start moving to an area, moving to an area. John L. just got a piece of him, and he couldn't wrap him up.
O'Neal, the 86 AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, then had a devastating knee injury. A lot of people thought he'd never play again, but he has come back and is a great player once more. Little game up front, and Craig in trouble. Dumps it to John L. Williams. Has Fenner as a blocker, but Gilbert still knocks him out of bounds. Back at the original line of scrimmage at the 32.
Great job by Lee Williams putting pressure on Dave Craig. He didn't bite for the first pump fake. Got his hands up, caused Craig to pull it down, gave the defense a chance to get over and make the play. Great job by Big Lee Williams.
He's working on the sack record for this team, held by Gary Big Hands Johnson. He only needs 4 to break that record. Third and 9. And Craig will go to the shotgun with 4 wideouts. O'Neal with pressure. Williams with pressure. A fumble recovered by Seattle. The center, Grant Feasel, made the recovery. Craig had 4 touchdowns scored off of his fumbles this year, and last year he led the NFL in fumbles with 18.
Leslie O'Neal putting pressure. Watch O'Neal come off the ball. Andy Heck told us he didn't want Leslie to get on his edge. Now the edge is right there. On that left shoulder, he just hangs it tight, comes all the way around and forces Craig to step up into the middle. That's the thing you don't want as a quarterback, is that pressure up the middle. 4th down, they'll have to punt it away. Fair catch signal by Nate Lewis, makes it to the 17-yard line. A couple of flags down on the play. The punt only 27 yards. We'll check out the penalties for you. Steve Hendrickson's one of the guys involved, number 34 for the Chargers. And I think he managed to get somebody to instigate against him.
Offsetting personal fouls and an offside called against Seattle.
We have offside on the kicking team. We have a personal foul on the kicking team. We have a personal foul on the receiving team. The penalties will offset. Repeat 4th down.
As my good friend Jim Tunney called my house, and he explained to me what the rules is as far as punting, as far as penalties go. There is a 5 and 15 rule, but if 1 penalty happens against one team and 3 happen against the other, doesn't matter unless it's the 5 and 15 rule. That means, you know, somebody gets a 5, somebody gets 15. But what it means, it's offsetting penalties. What I'm trying to tell you.
How long did this phone call take?
I used up my entire machine.
Donnelly to punt again. Kane, Warren waiting again at his, Nate Lewis, rather, waiting again at his 10-yard line. Lewis signals fair catch, has to get through traffic to make it, and there is another flag down. 25-yard punt this time. Lewis had to get through a maze of players to make the fair catch. And an illegal block in the back called against San Diego.
Donnie Elder, number 28, was involved in it. And one of the offensive linemen for San Diego came running out, Courtney Hall, and grabbed him and said, hey, look, don't get us any deeper in a hole. Don't get a 15, and pointed him towards the sidelines.
The longer the game wears on with no score.
Illegal block, number 28 on the return. Penalize half the distance to the goal. 1st down, timeout.
There's Donnie Elder. Lower left part of your screen. There's a push in the back. Just pushes him in the back. You just can't do that. You're hurting your football team.
The longer the game wears on scoreless, the more you feel a big play might turn this around. ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By Hewlett-Packard LaserJet printers, they'll get you noticed. And by 3M, worldwide sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games. That tower is part of the Museum of Man at Balboa Park here in San Diego. One beautiful thing after another out here. San Diego starting in a hole at its own 8. Butts rumbles straight up the middle. Did you see the way he ran over Dwayne Harper? Harper's 174 pounds. He's outweighed by 72 pounds and stands in there and gets ripped.
Well, coming right at you. Offensive line does an excellent job. Frank Cornish turns out, gets a good block up inside by Derek Walker, and then Butts, look at him, see how he seeks someone to hit. He's a heat-seeking hitting missile. He just says, hit me, I need some more yards.
6'1", 248, nuts about Butts. I love it. First down, Chargers just shy of the 20. Butts will get the carry again. His teammates say that you can look at defensive backs after Butts has gotten into the fourth quarter and they've run into him several times. They're not in such a hurry to come up to the line of scrimmage to hit him again. They lay back and wait for somebody else.
This offense the Chargers are running is very similar to what the Washington Redskins ran when they had John Riggins as the quarterback. The attitude, the philosophy, the offensive lineman structure, all are very similar.
The other great thing about Butts in the comparison to Riggins, he doesn't fumble the football. He fumbled twice in 379 carries coming into this game. Play action to Butts. Here's the blitz. Tolliver unloads, and Cox tries to make the one-hand grab behind him. Here's the Budweiser storyline from San Diego. The Seahawks blew an opportunity early. A 9-play drive, missed a field goal. San Diego has only 3 yards passing so far. The Chargers a total offense of 25 yards, and the Seahawks have dominated the time of possession. But the bottom line, it's 0-0 with 10:26 to go in the half. Third down and 7. Tolliver dumps it to Cox. Cox, a load in his own right, barrels across the 30 for the first down. Cox, 6'2", 277. And we thought Butts was big.
Well, you run the little guys and get the defense to move out. See Cox, lower left-hand side of your screen. He sets, locks up with the linebacker, releases. Now the guy has him in coverage, says, gee, where'd he go? He went up, but look at him split the difference. There's a guy who picked up 4 yards all by himself.
And dragged Nesby Glasgow those 4 yards, hanging onto a thigh.
277.
Tolliver gives to Butts following Cox. Hammers his way to the 34, gain of about 2. Wyman was in on the tackle along with Joe Nash.
That's the old counter trey that the Redskins run. In this instance, what they do is they seal with the H-back coming along. That time, Craig McEwen, number 31. They bring the offside tackle and offside guard, and they just try and lead up. You will not see Marion Butts run outside the tackle. It's an up and down, straight ahead type of attack.
Second and 8, clock turning, 9:09 to go first half. 0-0 from San Diego. Butts, gaping hole up the middle to the 47-yard line. First down. Eugene Robinson, the free safety, had to make the tackle after a gain of 12, and Marion Butts has just regained the rushing lead in the NFL. 901 yards for the season.
I talked about they want to work right in this area right here, and they just want to do these things with the linemen and let Butts just take it right up. There's not going to be a lot of variance. You're not going to have to look very far for Marion Butts. But look at the offensive lineman. Everybody locks up on somebody. He gets a gaping hole up the middle.
Frank Cornish, the center, got a great block on David Wyman, the middle linebacker. Tolliver, quick drop throws, incomplete, out of the hands of Nate Lewis, but there's a flag on the play. Patrick Hunter thought he played great defense. The official thought otherwise.
You pound them, you pound them, you pound them,
Pass
and all of a
interference.
sudden,
Number 27 of the defense. First down.
and all of a sudden you set and fire. Ask Billy Joe Tolliver what his 2 favorite passes were, and this is one of them. He calls this the skinny 8. And yeah, there is a little bit of pass interference. He just gets that left hand in. This little skinny 8 turns out being an incompletion. There it is. He's wrapped up before he ever gets a chance to make the catch.
Great camera work. He got there a second early, and Hunter, who had made the interception in the first quarter, commits the penalty. A gain of 21 yards on the play, puts it down to the Seattle 34.
First 3 drives, San Diego managed to get 1 first down. This one, they've had 4 already.
We asked Dan Henning about Tolliver. He said one of the strongest things about him is he can handle the criticism that young quarterbacks are going to get. And he's received a lot of it and handled it very well. But takes this one outside, cuts it back in. What a load when he gets into the secondary down to the 19-yard line. Rufus Porter and Eugene Robinson were back there along with Dwayne Harper. Well, it's like stepping out into traffic and it's a truck coming.
Well, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on your defensive backs. This one's coming right at you. Left side of the screen. They run it outside. They seal the corner. Now, you don't see a Seahawk in sight. Everybody's locked up. Now watch this. Pick that out of the air. That isn't exactly cherry picking when a guy 250 goes up.
Butts now ahead of Thurman Thomas, who, of course, will play tomorrow night as Buffalo meets Houston. But he had led the league most of this season. Butts to the 16. Wyman again was in on the stop, along with Tony Woods. Number 57, the converted linebacker, who is now a defensive end.
This area of the football field is where teams like to go to man-to-man coverage. Seattle playing a lot of zone through the other 80 yards, but when you get down into what's called the red area, now you start to bring the backers a little closer to stop the run, and you try and match up one-on-one.
Tom Catlin on the sideline, hoping his defense can hold. 2nd and 7. Butts lost his footing, got inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Jeff Bryant and Glasgow made the tackle. That's Jack Murphy Stadium, as seen from the Goodyear Bluff, Columbia. It's out of Carson, California. And out of Downey, California is Charles Russell, the pilot tonight. Beautiful stadium, beautiful area.
Easy to drive these things, too. Easy to drive.
Oh, you've had the chance.
I have had the opportunity, yes. Enjoyed it very much.
This drive has already taken up 79 yards in 10 plays and more than 5 minutes off the clock. We're down to 5:57 to go in the scoreless first half. 3rd and 4. Tolliver to throw. Has time, throws complete to the 1-yard line. McEwen, the H-back, out of the backfield. They like to throw to McEwen on 3rd down situations just the way they like to throw to Ronnie Harmon.
Well, what happens is he comes in motion here. It's tough to cover somebody man-to-man when he's moving in motion. But you see him come over. Anthony Miller runs off. He just sits down in what's a cleared-out area by Anthony Miller. He just said, hey, it's like getting in somebody's jet stream. You clean it out, I'll sit down behind you.
McEwen, another ex-Redskin, as Dan Henning picks some people off that roster for his club. 1st and goal. Plummer is into the backfield in front of Butts, and Butts tripped up before he could get back to the line of scrimmage, and it was Eric Hayes, the rookie out of Florida State, number 78, got penetration and grabbed him by the ankles. And there is a flag down after the play.
San Diego's going to be marched back. Here you got a 2nd down and 2. Somebody goes out and does something real stupid. Now you're going to be 2nd down and 17.
Boy, no kidding.
Personal foul, number 88 of the offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Aaron Cox, the H-back. You've got goal to go at the 1, and now you push yourself back to the 16.
You got it. You know, if you play this game, you got to keep yourself under some sense of composure. Dan Henning standing there's got to be frustrated. Arthur Cox is probably one of the most unprovocable people there is. Now he just pushes somebody. Now they start with words. Now they're still talking. Now I still don't know what the penalty is unless it just happened, just was that one shove.
Oh, the official had not thrown the flag up until that point. Then he came in and very late threw it. Cortez Kennedy in the Seattle defensive lineup. Of course, he was their #1 draft choice. He's number 96 for Seattle. On 2nd and 17, 2nd and goal from the 17. 4-man rush. Tolliver dumps it off to Cox. To the 10, lumbers to the 6.
Oh, he was, he was just looking for somebody to run. Could you feel that? I mean, I know you didn't play, but you could see this guy. Just one of you guys get in my way. I'm responsible for the penalty. Give me the football. I want to run over somebody.
He was looking for the guy that got him the penalty on the last play.
Anybody in that white jersey, let me run over him.
It will be 3rd and goal from the 6, and the Chargers have been woeful in goal-to-goal situations this year.
If you're Billy Joe Tolliver, you got to be thinking here, we got a shot at 3. Don't throw the INT.
They give it to Lovell, who's in for the first time. Excuse me, Ronnie Harmon. And Harmon is inside the 5, but it will bring up 4th and quite a bit. Crowd chanting go, and Dan Henning just shakes his head.
It says no.
And sends in the field goal. That's right.
Crowd says go. Henning says no. They're getting boos. In this kind of a game, it's been up and down the field. You want to be the guy that's got some points on the board. 3:17 to go in the half with the clock running down. You want to put your defense out there, which has been the strongest part of your team.
Look at the numbers on Carney. 14 out of 15 field goals. Came in after Fuad Reves hit only 2 of 7 and was cut. They really liked Carney's attitude and brought him back. A little more than an extra point here, and he drills it. So Carney is 15 out of 16. And San Diego has taken a 3-0 lead. San Diego gets on the scoreboard, takes a 3-0 lead with 2:56 to go. First half of play and an impressive drive. 90 yards, 14 plays. It took 9 minutes, and that is the kind of ground game, the kind of dominance, and the kind of personality Dan Henning wants for this football team.
Well, that's exactly what he wants. And there you see the offensive lineman being wiped down. That's Coach Alex Gibbs right in the middle. As you can see, he's trying to make his point to that young offensive line. Change the blocking schemes. Gone from man-to-man to a lot of pickup and help-out blocking.
LaVille and Warren are deep to receive. Warren from the 10. Big hole. Carney, the kicker, the only man back, finally got some help all the way to the 43-yard line. Brilliant return by the rookie Chris Warren, 47 yards. And Donnie Elder saved the touchdown by shoving him out of bounds. Plays of the week, always fun on SportsCenter, and there is Rusty Tillman on the sideline as San Diego was taking a 3-0 lead. This guy is very proud of special teams, was a great special teams player himself, and has to be very happy with the way the special teams have responded tonight. Craig to throw on 1st down. Deep drop, plenty of time over the middle of John L. Williams. He's nailed as he got it at the 37. Dropped by Junior Seau, back in pass coverage that time.
Well, this guy's got a motor that runs all the time. One of the great linebackers to come out of college football. There he is right in the middle. Drops back into pass coverage. Looking for somebody, spots, hunts up John L. Soon as he turns around, he gets a helmet sandwich. Good reaction.
Really only had 1 full season of college football, but it was a beauty. Craig to throw again, pump fake, lost it, bumped it off the rear end of one of his own blockers and dropped it again. One of the reasons Craig has trouble holding onto the football is he does not have your normal large hands for quarterback.
Garbage.
You don't believe that?
Garbage. I'm telling you, that's garbage. It really is. I don't think the size of the hand matters as much. What happens here is he starts to bring it forward. This one just gets away from him. See? He starts and tries to bring it back. This has nothing to do with the size of the hands. It has to do with the size of the bottom of the guy you hit.
Well, you have a point there. 2 minutes to go, first half. Chargers 3-0. Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann with you from San Diego, and it's a 3-0 Chargers score. Dan Henning on the right, Chuck Knox on the left. Knox knows how critical this game is for his club. They got off to such a terrible start. Got within a game of 500, then lost the last time out. They are 4-6 right now. It is a must-win game for them, and they face 3rd and 13. Blitz. Leslie O'Neal knocks it away from Craig, recovered by Seattle. Ronnie Lee, the right tackle, pounced on it. But once again, David Craig nailed from behind and tossed up the football.
That's an excellent job by San Diego's secondary as well. An excellent job what they did, putting pressure on David Craig as well as coverage downfield.
That is the 6th time Craig has fumbled after a sack this year. We have a timeout, 1:39 to go in the first half. Chargers get a big break, and San Diego did recover the football at the Seattle 48-yard line. So Lee, when he fell on it, couldn't hold it.
Craig back in the shotgun. Leslie O'Neal from the outside. Andy Heck trying to take him one-on-one. He just comes in over the top, causes the fumble. Seattle does manage to hang on.
We've got a timeout with 1:39 to go in the half. We'll be back in a moment. Coming up at halftime, Chris Berman with all the highlights from this afternoon's game. Every game played today, and then we'll be back to San Diego for Joe's analysis. We'll also run down all the upsets, and there's some big ones. And let's straighten this one out. San Diego did recover, and it's 4th down. And Donnelly will punt to Nate Lewis. Lewis, another fair catch, this time at the 21-yard line. Punt of 31 and no return.
What caused that punting situation for Seattle? This is Leslie O'Neal down here, and this is Donnie Elder. They're going to put pressure. But watch the job. This one man in center field, another man in the middle. Watch the job these two corners do on the receivers. Here comes the pressure. This is just great man-to-man coverage. Got a man in the hole, a man deep in the hole. David Craig with nowhere to go with the football.
They're running the routes as well as the receivers.
That's some mighty darn good coverage. That's a heck of a scheme, putting a guy short, a guy deep, and just go bump and run.
1st and 10 from the 21, just over a minute and a half to go. Ronnie Harmon in the San Diego backfield. He's number 33. Tolliver wants the screen, and San Diego was all over it. There is a flag down on the play. Seattle saw a screen right away. There were as many white shirts as there were blue shirts in the area where they wanted to throw the screen, and the penalty will also go against San Diego.
This is something that Billy Joe Tolliver has to grow into. There's a lot to learn. He's only played 15 games. This is his 16th game in the National Football League. What happens is he made the right decision. I can't throw the screen. It's going to be a loss. Too many people there. But he's got to get it out quick, because if he doesn't, his offensive linemen get locked up and they wind up with a penalty.
Illegal use of hands. Number 63 of the offense. Repeat 1st down.
Rookie center Frank Cornish out of UCLA, so they will back him up near the 10-yard line. We want to wish San Diego owner Alex Spanos a quick recovery. He was admitted to the hospital in Stockton, California last night because of a kidney stone. They expect he'll be discharged Tuesday or Wednesday after some laser treatment up there. I'm sure he's watching tonight. Harmon on the delay. Got it out to the 21-yard line, knocked out of bounds there. James Jefferson took him out of bounds.
That's a good call. And really, Seattle that time anticipating the pass. The prevent defense opens up so many opportunities for an offense. You got 1:19 to go. They got their full complements of timeouts. Now they get up to a 2nd and 9 and they can throw the ball in the middle of the field where usually there are big gaps.
Harmon picked up as a Plan B free agent from Buffalo. Number 2 on the team in receiving yards. Here's another delay. Harmon again, this time only to the 25-yard line, stacked up about 7 yards shy of a 1st down. Robinson made the tackle. And San Diego will use the timeout. excuse me, Seattle will use the timeout, stop the clock on a 3rd down situation. You can start your college football Saturday every weekend at 11:30 Eastern, College Game Day, with Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Charlene Hawks. They show you what's going to happen all during Saturday afternoon. Next Saturday, we have a doubleheader for you at 4 o'clock. Second-ranked Miami goes against San Diego State. And then a big one, the Battle of Florida, between Florida and Florida State, number 5 and number 8. Of course, the Gators cannot go to a bowl this year. This will be their bowl game against Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles.
Bobby entrenched at Florida State. Great job he's done down there year in, year out. Put out some great professional athletes. Of course, the latest being Deion Sanders.
I'll guarantee you one thing. Steve Spurrier is going to have a top 20, top 10 team every year at the University of Florida. Look at the total yards. Seattle with a yard in the second quarter. A yard.
A1.
3rd and 6. Movement. And they'll whistle the play dead.
Now, if it's an interior lineman that flinches, it's a penalty. Arthur Cox is off the ball. He can move around, jostle around, do what he wants, but that's not a penalty. As long as he gets set.
Ball start. Number 88 of the offense. 3rd down.
He's in the backfield.
And that's what Dan Henning is saying. Arthur Cox set up as an 8-back.
Take a look. He's right here. He's going to flinch a little, but as long as he sets for a second, it's okay. See, he moves. That's all right. He can get set. That's not a good call by the official. That man is an eligible receiver. He's in the backfield. He's allowed to move, but he has to reset himself.
Could have been a very big call. That would have made it 3rd and 1 had it been called the other way. Instead, it's 3rd and 11. Tolliver on the draw to Harmon again. Harmon picking his way, trying to get to the 1st down sticks, crosses the 30, but he's going to be about a yard shy before Eugene Robinson made the tackle. They will stop the clock with a minute to go in the half.
I can't believe Leo Goaz, number 67. He's out in front, and he turns around to try and block somebody. Again, you got a rookie offensive tackle. He's down the field. He runs right into Harmon. This is unbelievable. You see him, there he is in front. Now watch this, there goes Harmon, okay? Now he turns around. Heck, if the guy went around you, go hit somebody in front of you. Little things that this team's got to learn. Bobby Beathard, the GM now at San Diego, is molding this football team a lot like he did with the Miami organization and as well as the Redskin organization. I mean, he's just a great general manager, a great people person.
He's the best. Chris Warren waiting at his own 25 with a minute to go as John Kidd is on to punt. Of course, Beathard is in a situation here. He is much better off in San Diego than when he took over as the general manager in Washington, because George Allen left him absolutely nothing.
Left them no players. They were all over 90.
And no draft
I was the
choice.
youngest at 85. And then also I left him no draft choices. So, yeah, he's much better off here.
Now, he said we haven't traded our number 1 yet out here. Could be returnable. Warren to 27. Fumble picked up by Kidd, the punter. He lost it. And it's recovered by Seattle. We may have some sorting out to do on this. A 43-yard return, or 43-yard punt, a return of 17. It was eventually recovered by Robert Blackman.
The question here is, Fenner fumbled. Yes. Kidd picked it up. Was he down by contact with the ground and the ball came out? This one will take, everybody's talking. Got everybody talking in this one. That's the thing to do, Dale. Call timeout. Hold it a second. Let's see what's going on.
Dave Aarons is the guy to watch. He knocks it loose. Right there.
That one's out. That's a fumble. There's no question about that one. John Kidd has it now. Now he's trying to run with it. He's down the, I don't know.
I thought it was loose.
It's going to be real close to see. Hard to tell. Here's a better angle at it. Ball's out. Absolutely. Yep. That's a fumble. Well, Seattle was catching the punt anyway. Now they wind up with the football. There you see, right part of your screen. That football is out before he's on the ground.
Blackman made the recovery in San Diego territory at the 47-yard line. That punt play took 15 seconds. 45 left in the first half. That's the replay booth. They said it was fine the way it was called on the field. 4-man rush. Craig throws complete to Blades at the 39-yard line. If he throws to a wide receiver, it is almost always going to be Blades. He has come to really rely on him and Tommy Kane, 89 and 81.
Yeah, the amazing thing is Tommy Kane's caught 29. Blades has caught 27. John L. Williams has 46.
Yeah.
You're right, though. If he's going to go, he's going to go outside.
John L. is the single setback. 1st and 10 from the 30. Screen to Williams. John L. Williams to the 16-yard line. Well-designed, well-executed play. Donnie Elder made the tackle after a gain of 14. Feasel threw a good block for him. Craig gets the snap and spikes it to stop it with 21 seconds left.
This is a well-conceived play to John L. Williams. Good job with the screen. What you want to do is spread the defense out as much as you possibly can, and then run your fullback up in the middle. Right here. See how everybody's spread out? Corners, safeties gone out here. Corners and safeties. John L's just going to check down. The rush will come. He's going to sit right in the middle. Nobody at home. There it is. Got one guy to block. Pick it up.
Second and 10. Craig Scansey, what a great job to get the feet down. Paul Scansey at the 8-yard line. Scansey would really like to do some damage tonight, trying to make up from a week ago. He made a rare drop a week ago that led to an interception in the ball game.
Yeah, but look at this catch. He goes up, extends himself, gets the right foot down, left foot down, and manages to stay in.
Craig is at 12 out of 17 for 116 yards, and he knows Scansey will drop one about every 6 or 7 years. Craig throws and incomplete. The only one there was Donald Frank, the defensive back. A poor decision with Craig, and he got away with it. Boy, nobody there but blue shirts.
You're right, exactly. I mean, why does somebody do it? The guy's played a lot of years. You want to protect it. You can't pull the trigger twice. Watch, he looks to his left. Now he steps up and just throws out a little duck out here. The receiver's not thinking with you.
So Norm Johnson.
Now they're going to take a look at it. They're not sure.
Norm Johnson was on to try the field goal. There is only 8 seconds to go in the first half.
And in truth, I'm not sure that wasn't an interception either. Did Frank get his hands underneath it? Does the ball manage to get to the ground? That's the question. Again, the word we have to use is conclusive. There's his hands underneath. Now, are they in his arms or not? I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to judge. Here's another look at it.
Boy, from that angle, it looked like he caught it. Jack Fetty is the replay official. But remember, as Joe said, it was ruled incomplete on the field, so they have to say it's conclusive upstairs to reverse it.
There's another look. There's his hands on the ground. There's the ball. Now, if it hits his forearms, it looks like it hits his forearms and bounces up to his chest.
But either way, that is going to be a very difficult call to make.
Yeah, and it's a bad throw. Very uncharacteristic of David Craig in that situation. Of course, there's a 2-minute time clock from when they start the review. That's something you got to remember, too. Not when the play is over or you set it by your watch at home.
You could almost see the shocked look on Donald Frank's face, like, hey,
what's it doing here?
Yeah.
See, Craig I think he expects the receiver to move one out, and he doesn't. Nothing but blue shirts around. There's the ball. There's his hands on the ground.
Review, the play stands. Incomplete pass.
Well, that's just a tough call.
Well, I mean, they made the call. It wasn't conclusive to overturn it.
And Frank is really starched, and you can't blame him. Norm Johnson, who has missed one tonight, was on to try from 26 yards out. And Johnson converts to tie it at 3. The thing about that interception or non-interception, if it had been ruled an interception and instant replay had reviewed it, they would have probably let that stand too, because the angles were not conclusive enough to change it.
Very good point, Mike. I think it's an excellent point. Fact is you got to see it the other way. If it's blurred at all or you're not certain, that's tough luck.
And with all the controversy about instant replay, if that isn't one of the most thankless jobs in the world, I don't know what is.
You're right. There they are in the booth.
Stay with us at halftime. Chris Berman with the fastest 3 minutes in television, highlights of every game today and what games we had. The mighty have fallen. And we'll be back to analyze this one also from San Diego, which now stands 3-3 with 5 seconds to go in the first half. That scoring drive, only 39 yards. And remember, it was after a punt that was fumbled and then fumbled by the Chargers when they recovered. So Johnson will kick off. And they go with the split kick. Taken by Orr, one of the up men, and he gets it back to the 35-yard line with 1 second on the clock.
37 and Kerry Orr.
Seahawks strolling out on the field. They think the half is over, but there is 1 second left. Clock starts only when a receiving member touches the ball. So everybody says, gee, how can 5 seconds not be run off when it was kicked? That's not the case. When the receiving team catches the ball, that's when they start the clock.
So Tolliver comes out with 1 tick left on the clock, 65 yards away from the goal line.
I hate this play. This does nothing for your statistics if they're going to throw this up for a jump ball. Of course, coaches don't worry about it. Just quarterbacks do.
Tolliver, instead of going deep, hits Miller over the middle, and Miller driven out of bounds by Jefferson. That will end the first half of play. It's been a battle of the field goal kickers through 1 half of football in San Diego. The Seahawks 3, the Chargers 3. Right now, let's join Chris Berman. Boomer.
All right, Michael and Joe, thank you very much. 3-3 at halftime in a wild and wacky week number 12 in the NFL. To be a first-place team meant that you were an endangered species, and even the undefeated were not spared. The undefeated, of course, the 49ers, looking for a record 19th straight win. Started back in last year, but against the Rams, Buford McGee became, quote, a quarterback. This is a touchdown pass to Cleveland Gary. The Niners fall at the stick, 28-17. So could the Giants and Bill Parcells remain undefeated? They had a tough task at Philadelphia. Look at Randall Cunningham's throw, doink, and it's a touchdown. Deflected to Calvin Williams. Philly leads at 24-13. 22 seconds later, Seth Joyner bats it. Byron Evans snares it. And the Eagles knock the Giants from the ranks of the undefeated 31-13. The Bears had only lost once, but the Vikings wanted to show their muscle in the Metrodome. Herschel, Mike Lynn is a genius. Look at him dish. Mark Carrier there. The touchdown pass from Gannon. Herschel had a pair of TDs today. 7 sacks, including this one by Joey Browner. The Bears were slaughtered 41-13. First place in the AFC West. Could Bo and Marcus get it running against the Chiefs? Marcus ran for 3 touchdowns, including this 11-yard scamper. But for the second time this year, it was Kansas City that handled the Raiders. Steve DeBerg to Emil Harry. 19 yards, 27-24, the Chiefs, who tie the Raiders for first place. Would Cincinnati look high atop the Indianapolis Colts today? Look that way. Eric Dickerson, 43 yards, including this. Lee! He had 143 yards on the day. Jeff Boyd George, he was impressive. To Billy Brooks,
Bengals fall to the Colts for the second time in 2 years, 34-20. Joe Walt fired as Jets coach back in the Meadowlands against the Jets as Steelers offensive coordinator. Ken O'Brien, no, he's looking for Al Toon, picked up by Larry Griffin. So is Walton and Chuck Noll's defense that helped set up a Merrill Hodge touchdown to make them lead 17-7. Then look at Bobby. Avoid the rush. Oh, let me tell you about Louis Lips. And the Steelers win it 24-7. They're back in the first place tie. Tommy Hudson got the start for New England at Phoenix, somewhere in the desert. And late in the first half, he hooks up with Starvin' Marvin Cook. Touchdown, we're tied at 14. First round pick, not Johnny Johnson, Anthony Thompson, other rookie. Rudnick for 136 yards. The Patriots have lost 9 in a row. Phoenix dished them 34-14. At New Orleans, the Falcons and the Saints, what do you expect? Late in the game with a 3-0 New Orleans lead, Chris Miller to George English Muffin Thomas. 51 yards, the Falcons lead at 7-3. With under 3 minutes to go, Steve Walsh to the all-time leading pass receiver of the Saints, Eric Martin. The game-winning touchdown. Saints beat the Falcons 10-7. Atlanta's lost 16 straight on the road. Bucks at the Packers. Magic didn't play. Vinny did. Didn't work. Although at times, Vinny looked okay. Testaverde to Bruce Hill. Vinny threw for 281 yards, but the man that played instead of the Magic Man, Anthony Dillway. Pair of touchdowns. This one to Sterling Sharp. They're doing the Lindy in Milwaukee. The Packers are 6-5. They win it 20-10. Miami at Cleveland. This man, Dan Marino, had reason to smile. Spotted 8 different receivers today against the Browns. Mark Duper, 5-yard touchdown. Then he goes to James Pruitt for 35 yards. Marino, the 12th man in NFL history to get to the 30,000-yard plateau as the Dolphins beat the Browns 30-13. So all 5 first-place teams were losers this afternoon. The only first-place team that didn't lose, Buffalo. They didn't play. Wonder how they're feeling going into their Monday nighter against the Oilers at the Astrodome. When we come back, Tom Jackson will join me. We'll look and see what happens with the Niners and the Giants. We're tied at 3 at the half. While we're still wondering who's going to win it all in the NFL, it's all over in the CFL. Congratulations in a Smythe Division matchup. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers bested the Edmonton Eskimos 50-11 to win the CFL championship in the Grey Cup played in Vancouver. Greg Battle returned an interception for a touchdown for Winnipeg, not Greg Buttle, the former Jet, but Greg Battle. At any rate, back to the NFL, and Tom Jackson joins me now. And both the Niners and the Giants losers today, Tommy, as we just saw the highlights briefly. Is it too much these days to ask any team to go undefeated, really?
I think so, Chris. You know, even with the lack of excellence that we're seeing throughout the league, I think when you ask a team to get up psychologically, emotionally, physically, every week for 16 weeks, I think it's just a bit much.
I don't think it was a question of looking past the foes. We know that because the Giants know the Eagles and the Niners know the Rams. And a matter of fact, it probably helped the Eagles and the Rams big time because they've had success against the Giants and Niners. They know them very well. For example, in the first game, the one at Philadelphia, the Eagles swept the Giants, Tommy, in 88-89 because they pressured Phil Simms.
And even though they only got the 2 sacks today, they managed to stay in Simms' face. They forced him into mistakes. Here we'll see Reggie White getting after him from the backside, forcing him out of the pocket. He throws a lame duck pass. It's not picked off, but that's the kind of pressure that he was under all day.
You know what was impressive today? Randall Cunningham has grown in the last month in the pocket, hasn't he?
I think not only in the pocket, but he's creating that calm that we see in the pocket. When Randall began this game, the first quarter especially, he did a lot of running. He broke out of the pocket. He made the defense then go to a control rush so that he had the time to throw the football later on.
What did we learn about the Giants that we didn't know today?
I think that this team, if they are forced into having to throw the football the way the Niners did to them last year, they may have a problem. This offensive line is run-oriented, and if they have to throw the football, they may have a problem.
All right, so the Niners, though, fell to the Rams, and one thing we've grown to count on for the 49ers is impeccable play. But when Joe Montana's picked off 3 times, we're reminded that he's human. When Jerry Rice fumbles a reception, we're reminded that he's human. So the 2 guys who were probably MVP in the league together were both very human today, and the Rams ran it up the gut, Tommy.
And they ran the ball 37 times for 111 yards. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot. That's a little less than 3 yards a carry. But the thing it does, I think, if you have consistency and you stay with that running game, then maybe at the end of the game you get one of those 11-play drives because they're a little bit worn down.
Yeah, they were worn down, but I'll tell you what, winning 10 out of 11, there's nothing wrong with that. We congratulate the Niners and the Giants for going, at least thus far. Their game on December 3rd on Monday night will still be a doozy.
Our game is 3-3. Back at the site in a moment.